Hi, I'm Harlan Tant, known as 23 Death Number here on YouTube. I'm making a very important video. The Fiscal Cliff is coming up. On December 31st at midnight, the Fiscal Cliff will happen. And everything most of you have been hearing, tax cuts and all that, the taxes will go up. Now I'm not here to explain what is happening. I will put a link I found about the Fiscal Cliff in the description below. It should help you understand the Fiscal Cliff and what will happen if it happens. I'm rather making this video about all of us who will be affected by this. I'm also making this video for Congress and for the President of the United States. The Fiscal Cliff will affect all of us when it happens. If it happens. Right now, our government is divided between it. Both sides standing firm on their ground and not willing to budge or compromise. Now, if what I've heard is correct, which I think it is, I could be wrong, but in about 11 days the House will go on vacation. Or winter break. May not be winter break. Now, I imagine they will be back afterwards, which I think is after Christmas, to deal with this situation. But the urgency of this must be dealt with now. Mr. President, you said after you won the re-election, we are not as divided as our politics make us out to be. I'm holding you to that. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat or an independent, but I do think the politics around us is dividing us as a nation. Or maybe the opposite is true. Maybe the people of America are becoming more united, but our government is becoming more divided. I don't want to see this nation go through something more traumatic again. This Fiscal Cliff will affect me. It'll affect my friends, my family, but not just us. It'll affect everyone. It'll affect people I don't even know. I don't want to see more people go through a hard time than they are now. In my mind, things are getting better. Maybe not as fast as everyone wants, but things are improving. Something like this Fiscal Cliff will stop that momentum. And it could set us way back. I don't want that for any of us. I heard on the news the Republicans would be blamed for this if the Fiscal Cliff happened. I will blame both parties for this. That's also why I'm making this video. To take a stand against all of you if this happens. Not only to stand together as united and help both parties in our government to come together and compromise to help stop this financial crisis, to stop this Fiscal Cliff, to help us stop us going over the cliff rather, but also to protest the government if the government fails to stop it. Both sides should be held responsible and should share the blame instead of pointing fingers at each other if this crisis happens. I'm willing to stand up and speak out before this event, before the House, I think it's the House and Senate, yeah, the House and Senate go on a break, or whoever's going on a break. I'm willing and setting up an event on Facebook and a group to stand up. I will be making them after this video, and we'll be posting the links to them on this description below. I only ask that every American, all of you who watch this video, share it or make your own videos. Help me stand up and spread the word to our government. Spread your word, our word, to unify our government, or we will stand up and we will protest you. And I do not mean violent protest or clashes in the streets. I mean speaking out in anger against both parties and blaming both sides of you for failing the people. We all have the power. The people elect the government officials, but we the people have the power. We the people are the ones in charge. The people are the government. People may not realize that, but their voice has strength and power. If the captain of a ship and his crew keep arguing about where to go on a destination, they could end up crashing on it, or hitting something in the ocean that could wreck the ship, or sink it. The passengers of the ship can either sit idly by and hope that the captain and the crew works things out in time to avoid this crash, or the passengers can stand up and speak up against the captain and his crew and tell them to get their game together and work out this problem now, or we're all doomed. That is what I believe. Now here are my thoughts on helping solve this financial crisis. I ask everyone give their points, and please agree. I don't want 100 different million points, but if you agree on what should be done, please speak your mind. At least most of us should have a general idea. Here is my opinion of helping the financial crisis. I do believe in the tax raise that the president is wanting. To me, it makes sense. Cutting down on spending will not stop the debt. It may help it some, but much like a household, much like my household, there are bills and debts to be paid. Bills keep getting larger. They grow in size. The food bill, paying for food. Even if you cut down even on the basics, buy cheap brands, you may still have a bit more money left to get you to the end of the month. But you don't have much left at all to pay more on bills, or maybe debts that you have, like a car payment or a mortgage. You don't have as much to pay on that, which makes you, well, cut down more. You may have a job, but maybe you need another, or maybe someone else in your family has to get a job. If you don't increase the income, you're not going to cut down on the debt. More income and cutting back down on maybe some of the spending you were doing will help solve the financial crisis in your home, to get you back stable again, where eventually maybe you can go out and spend here and there. Maybe go see a movie every week, or buy gifts more on the holidays than just buying a pair of socks and giving it to a person for Christmas. And yes, I've gotten those. That's what I think. We do need a bit more tax increase that the president is speaking of, the 2% tax increase on the rich or the wealthy. Those, I can't remember the exact number of the household, but the president's plan pretty much on tax increase. But there is a compromise as well. I know the Republicans also have their own plan. There should be cut down on loopholes, and that should happen. And maybe cut down on some other spending, on deficits. But there has to be a compromise between both parties. Help work out and get down to a determining factor. Don't be willing to argue and get mad and just go, oh well. Please, work this out. Be willing to come to agreement of, let's say this, okay, Mr. President, we'll agree to your tax increase, but please agree with us on this. We're willing to work with you on this. If you get a deal, Mr. President, when, same goes to you, Congress, Republicans, hell, even Democrats, all of you, please, be willing to agree with it. Even if it doesn't have everything you want, please be willing to be alright. Let's do this now, and maybe later on, once again, we can initiate some kind of reform. That way, we win now and help divert this crisis. And I don't just mean stall it, but help be able to fix it. It's like working on a car, or anything, or the house. You may not be able to fix it in one day, but at least if you can get the parts to it and begin working on it, you can at least begin fixing the problem, and eventually you will get it fixed. It may take time, but time is running out on this situation. Please, please, be willing to work together, and I ask all of us once again to stand up and speak up and speak out. The events I will be posting, the due date that I will be posting, and even before then if you want, call your congressman, email the president, do whatever you can to get the word out about unifying the government, unifying both parties to work together to solve this crisis. If we do not, then we all pay for it. All of us will be affected. Not just the rich, not just the middle class. All of us will be affected. This could send us back into a recession, or worse, a depression. Our momentum that is helping us get better will be stopped, and then we will be stuck, worse off and more angry. What happened in Greece and Italy and most of Europe will happen here. If that happens, then we're all doomed. We're all doomed to suffer the same fate. Whether you be a Christian, an atheist, a Muslim, white, black, Hispanic, it does not matter. We are all citizens. We are all people of America. Please, let us stand up together, unify our government best that we can to not only solve this crisis, but to solve other problems that may arise. While I admit the government should be able to work out its stuff on its own at times, the people have a right to speak up about it, to get their word out. We voted for you. And maybe even the ones that didn't vote still have a right, because they are citizens of the United States, to speak up, to get their word out, to come together to solve this problem. And if you do not, then we will speak out against you, and you will both be held accountable for this. Both parties, both parts of our government, should be held responsible if they cannot solve a crisis. Do not wait to the last minute to pull some last-ditch effort to save America, because pulling a trick out of your hat at the last minute may stall for time, but it will not solve the solution. This will only make me, and maybe the rest of America, more irritated with you than we already are. Stalling for time and hoping that at the last minute one side will finally give in. Both of you should be willing to come together and solve this crisis now, not later, not when it's almost too late. I do not care who wants to come out the victor in this, to be like, oh, we won. The politics are dividing our nation, and they are dividing you. We are not as divided as our politics make us. I hope that and held that to be true. We are Americans. We are citizens. We are people. We all share the problems our nation has, but we've always come together to deal with them. I believe now is another chance for us to come together and help unify our government best that we can to solve this crisis, and later on even solve maybe more problems that may arise. When our government can't solve its own problems because of its own bickering, then maybe we should come in and settle them both down. We have a right to, and that's why I'm asking you, help me. Let us stand up together. Let us stand up and deal with this situation now, or we will all pay for it. Thank you, and please, please, be willing to stand up together with me. I know I'm asking you over and over, but this is important. Please don't just skim over this video and think it is nothing, and think that things will get better without you doing anything. Those who sit by and do nothing are also held accountable. That is why I'm making this video, as I felt an urge to do this. While there are other topics I do feel important, like the things in Syria and Korea, those topics, for now, I will put aside to deal with this situation. all of us can come together and help America become better. We have to move forward, not get to a point and then be set back, where moving forward seems more impossible than ever. We will always continue to move forward as long as we all work together. The government, its people, we all work together for the better. Our politics should not divide us. Nothing should divide us. Only unite us. Maybe this fiscal cliff will finally unite us, or it will divide us for a longer time. Thank you for watching this, and you also have my permission to mirror this video. Share it or mirror it, or make your own and send your own message to Congress, to the President, to everyone that you can. I will be setting up a group and event as I stated before. Please, join me in this event in standing up to unify our nation, to unify our government, to stop the bickering, and to help us avert this crisis, and maybe even later on, help us solve more problems that we can all help with, because we are all affected by it. No matter what the problem, it all affects us. Thank you, and God bless you.